And taking a look at our weather conditions, we are looking actually at a pretty warm day today. However, some rain in the forecast too, so we'll have a look at that. Hopefully you had a great weekend and spent time with your family yesterday, and now you're recovering from all the food you ate, right? We'll get to the forecast in just a moment. First, though, let's check in with Chrissy and see what it's like on the ground. Thanks, Chrissy. And you're right. I mean, by the time we get into this wet weather, it's likely to stay with us from time to time right into the weekend. So it's definitely going to be wet as we progress into tomorrow and onward through the end of the week. The rain is in the forecast. And once it starts, it's likely not going to stop. We'll stop periodically, but the overall pattern won't stop until the weekend. We do have the potential today of some non-severe thunderstorms, so certainly watching for the potential. None of this is likely to reach any form of severe limits with this warm front here in red and the cold front in blue. And the rain is going to be heaviest in northeastern Ontario. For us, though, in terms of amounts, we would expect to see between 15 and at the high end 30 millimeters of rain, especially through the Dundalk Highlands. All of this rain from this low pressure system is going to move its way into the Atlantic provinces. And beyond that, I mean, we're still going to be seeing unsettled weather into the end of the week, so at times we continue to see showers, but there will be a few breaks of sunshine expected. Great stuff, Rachel. Thank you so much. And speaking of that area, down into the Niagara region, that's where we sent Mike Arsenault earlier to talk about, well, the conditions there on the ground. It's going to be so hot today. Mike? Thank you very much, Mike. Well, the reason that it's so warm in that region today is because we've got this southerly push. It's really going to bring in some warmth, but it does come with rain. So, you know, there's a bit of a trade-off. We get the warmth, but we do have the rain that's moving through. Low pressure system will bring copious amounts of rain to the northeast of the province. Sudbury, North Bay, back toward Espanola, our low pressure system, which then moves its way up to the north and east of us. But in terms of the impact it has on our forecast, you can see that once we get into the rain, there really aren't that many breaks. Thank you so much, Natalie. Yeah, lots more top fives are found online at theweathernetwork.com, and we are dealing with nothing that even resembles anything freezing at this point. We've got some really nice mild temperatures. Yes, it does come with some unsettled weather, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, though, let's bask in the heat. And to do that, let's join Chrissy. And that would be me. Thank you very much, Chrissy. Taking a look at the thunderstorm risk today across southern Ontario through the southwest and not quite reaching the GTA, but all because of really, well, I mean, there's various things going on. We have a warm front that's pushing up, it's bringing a lot of rain to the northeast. We have a cold front passing through, and it's not a big drop in temperatures, but we're essentially going to be in the warm sector of this low pressure system throughout the bulk of today. And as a result of that, 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. Mike's contemplating, what am I going to do with this? Well, thank you very much for that, Mike. It is that time of year after all. And you know what? The weather is not feeling fall-like at all today. Let's check in with Chrissy and see what it's like. Thanks very much, Chrissy. And the whole changing thing has nothing to do with the weather. that happens regardless. Go through a lot of laundry as a new mom. We're going to take a look actually at our conditions. First, though, let's check in with Mike and see what it's like in Niagara. That's a rough one, Mike. Thank you very much. Risk of storms, so just be aware of that while you're out there golfing. But for the most part, yeah, we'd be very isolated in nature, non-severe in nature, but still, when you hear thunder, you've got to get indoors, right? We do have breezy and humid conditions. It's because of that southerly pull of warm air from the south. We have a warm front here, lots of rainfall in northern eastern Ontario. Sudbury and North Bay, upwards of 60 plus millimeters of rain versus across southern Ontario, 15 to 30 on the high end, but for the GTA, 15 millimeters of rain. That will be the case in terms of showers really lasting through to the end of the week, frankly, with this low pressure system. It does move off to the north. Thank you so much, Natalie. And one of those, of course, Niagara Falls. We're going to head nearby, Niagara on the Lake, and check in with Mike and see what it's like outside. Thank you, Mike. Well, so despite it being so warm for the most of part of the day, the rain is coming our way, and that will probably be, I think, about 3 or 4 in the afternoon is when we'll begin to feel the rain in the GTA. And then you can see that even behind the low pressure system, it's still unsettled. We're going to continue to see showers for the bulk of the work week. So looking at our amounts now, yeah, a few breaks of sunshine expected Friday, but you can see lots of rain on this 7-day forecast.
From which has happened last year when the remnants of Panpon moved in for the weekend, and that flooded places.
Last week, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Last week.
Well, I mean, it was such an interesting thing that happened in Japan, and then all that moisture has made its way into BC, and now we're going to continue to see that trend continuing. But these are the totals as of 5 o'clock this morning in terms of where we stand. Port Alberni, pretty high totals here, 45 millimeters. Elsewhere, though, it's going to be the Central Coast that's really going to get inundated with the highest totals.
That was exactly what you were just saying, where it's not over yet. There's still an awful lot more still to come. Prince Rupert, as an example, around the Central North Coast area, the next 7 days is just rain, consistent, but consistent rain, consistent temperatures around 10, 11, and also consistent overnight lows around 9.
Yeah, well, if you head further north, Fort Nelson and parts of Yukon are dealing with snowfall, so that's all ahead or on top of, if you will, the low pressure systems where it's cold enough to get the snow. Elsewhere, though, across the prairies, we have temperatures that are above average, certainly right now.
In Ontario, we have rainfall warning. Chapleau through Iroquois Fall. Timmins, part of this. I was taking a look at Timmins earlier today in the program. Heavy amounts of rain. In that rainfall warning, 45 to 60 millimeters of rain. But that's northern Ontario. The south is a different story.
The south is a different story. 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. It's possible we may...
Coming out of a summer, the thunderstorms are a possibility.
Yeah, so for October to be this warm, though, very unusual. However, it comes with a price. We have some rain on the way. Let's take a quick look, though, at our temperatures in terms of where we're going to go. Yeah, we've got very high values indeed.
Heat and humidity, as mentioned. Taking a look at the afternoon, some other areas around the country.
Question will be following that, and of course, it will be reaching likely our Atlantic provinces too. Thank you very much, Natalie. Okay, so we took number 4 on that list. Not too bad. High temperatures yesterday on Thanksgiving. We reached nearly 16 degrees at Pearson International. But look at that, St. Catharines just topping 20 degrees. So overall, we've had seasonal temperatures. Hasn't been too bad temperature-wise. And today, we're doing even better in terms of bringing those values up. But keep in mind that Monday was a very chilly start. Look at that, Bancroft. And indeed we do, Chrissy, and that's exactly what we're doing. We have rain coming in by this evening, and again, temperature of 19. So we're definitely looking at showers and a very unsettled pattern that we're setting ourselves up for. But as Chrissy was mentioning, very warm temperatures, humidex readings down into the Niagara region in the low 30s. For this time of year, unprecedented types of temperatures that we're talking about. 60 millimeters of rain, Sudbury and North Bay. We have some high totals there. Generally across southern Ontario, 15 to 30 millimeters of rain, and some of that may be in the form of some thunderstorms as well. We have the Long Ranger coming up for you in just a few minutes' time with Dr. Doug and Chris. And it's a good thing that you have the Weather Network with you so you'll know how to be prepared, because it is a little bit changeable, and yes, we have rain in the forecast. So let's take a look at where we are. Look at these values in yellow here. These are humidex readings in the Niagara region in the low 30s. Yes, amazing stuff. Across southern Ontario, high 20s is what we can expect. In northern Ontario, it is going to rain heavily in many cases, like in Sudbury, like in North Bay. And overnight, that rain will certainly be enveloping most, if not all, of southern Ontario. And to the northeast, as I mentioned, 45 to 60 millimeters of rain in a swath in red here. So it's going to be a sizable amount of rain. And actually, speaking of rain, we have warnings to the north. Let's find out more about rainfall warnings right now with Jacqueline. Thank you so much for that explanation, Jacqueline. We have a risk of non-severe thunderstorms today across southern Ontario, mostly through the south and west. So once we get into the rain, which will begin later today, it's going to continue to rain for the rest of the work week. And then we get a few breaks here by the time we get to Saturday, Sunday, and then it comes back. So lots of rain for us over the next week. So get those rubber boots ready and the raincoats too.